say I'm down. That's what I am.
That's dope.
You know?
So wait, you won't deal with a fat guy though?
I'm attracted to I was attracted to this man. This man was like, if we're talking about rating and all this stuff that you like to do, this man was like a 2 or 3, but to me, he was a 10. Like when I'm in love with someone, I don't care what you look like. I am in love. I think you're the hottest person ever. Like that's why the whole rating thing, when Andrew talks about his wife and rates her a 6, you should think the person you're with is a 10 no matter what. Even if like we're talking about like, oh, this person's on the cover of Vogue, obviously she wouldn't be on the cover of Vogue, but she should be a 10 to him, you know what I mean? So he was a 10 to me. Man, what do you mean man? It's not about facts.
Well, speaking, thank you for bringing up the rating thing. I think why don't we do it right now?
I hate this subject so
M1
much.
Garand, ask everyone to rate their own looks on a scale of 1 to 10. You can't pick 7. Why don't we start with you? Go ahead.
You said rate myself 10, and I think every other woman, man should rate themselves a 10.
So 10 for you?
And everyone's a 10 in my eyes.
Chloe?
A 6.
Girl?
5.
Into the mic?
5.
5?
I'd probably say 6 too.
7.
You can't pick 7.
I would say between 6 and 8, depending like on a day, like makeup, no makeup, how my skin looks.
What about right now?
Maybe 7. Maybe like 7.5.
See, this is like crazy.
6 or 8.
Girl,
you got to pick 6 or 8.
You have to do that by yourself.
6 or 8.
Right.
I hate this question.
Can I do 6.9?
So
Nope.
stupid. Such a stupid question.
I guess.
Full numbers. No more.
All right. Okay.
Yeah,
8. Let's do 8.
8. Okay.
6.
Okay.
5.
Patrick, what do you rate
That
yourself?
hurts me.
Since we can't choose 7, I'll boost my ego and I'll say I'm an 8.
Okay, I give myself a 5.
Sticking with that one?
Give myself a 5. So we have a 10. We got the.
Oh my God, it's not about that. If we're talking about please let me talk about this topic. So if we're talking about realistic, because I'm a very realistic person, I know that when I go outside, not everyone's gonna think I'm attractive, and that's okay. I'm realistic. But when you're talking about rating yourself, I feel like every individual should feel that they're a 10. They should feel that about themselves. That's the best way to live. If like I had to come to realistics, right? And you're like, do you think you could be on the cover of Vogue? I know that I can't, right? That's okay. But and also if I'm having to rate myself, if someone's like has a gun to my head and they're like, rate yourself, give me a number, I could give myself a number. But as myself, I rate myself a 10 because I know who I am and I know what I'm about, and that's what I give myself. But I'm also realistic. So.
What do you rate me?
Love this question. I think with the beard, you're like a 7, 8. Without the beard, I think like a 6. I just rate yourself because you rate everyone else. I'm giving you a rating.
Well, I think
you're a 10 though in my eyes. You know what I mean?
No, but you just said I was a 6.
No, because you are very like, you will tell girls that they're, you know what I mean? So I'm giving you the same energy back. But in my eyes, you're a 10.
I feel like Brian probably wears the beard because, like my ex-husband, if he shaved his beard, he just had the baby face.
That's what I'm saying. That's why the beard, I feel like when I see girls taking their makeup off, I've seen more dramatic beard shavings than makeup taking off on things. Like, if you
just a haircut.
No, literally, a man taking off his beard is like that's what I'm saying. When do you think you should tell a girl that you can, like a picture of you before the beard?
I have like, most of my Instagram is me without a beard.
Well, not you, I'm saying in general. Like, well, I guess you and in general. Like, do you think a man should have to, if they have a beard, they should do the same thing? I don't
think beard is a fair comparison to makeup.
Why is it with the man thing though? Like, why is it like when it is a very big difference when you have no beard on and when you have a beard on, you look very different, and that's okay.
I think
so
you
why
look
is it
better
different
without the beard.
Better?
Thank you, Chloe. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I like the beard.
Beards are cool and all, but
it's
like,
not a
you don't like beards?
it's not a similar comparison.
Why?
Well, but it's a part of his body.
The beard hides half your face.
I understand it's natural, but the way it changes we're talking about changing appearances, right?
Maybe a fourth of the face, but the beard, it's natural, so it's not something that's artificial, right? Okay. So that's one of the big differences that I would say.
Why do you want women to rate themselves 1 through 10? What does it give you? What do you think it does for people? Why do you think we need a rating? Like, what is this segment even about? You know what I mean? Because they go around the circle and this woman calls herself a 5, and that makes me want to cry. Because you're not a 5. You're hot as shit. And you guys are all hot as shit. And then a woman thinking themselves as a 5 is so sad to me. Because I think you only get one life, and you should yourself feel like you're the hottest girl in the world. You don't think you're better than anyone, right? You can think you're hotter than everyone, but also not think you're better. Do you know what I'm saying?
But
you can live on the same plane. You can still think like you're pretty and not be condescending and not be realistic. Like this show's always about realistic. It's like, who cares? I don't care.
But I also think like I can be realistic and not care what others think about my
Absolutely.
appearance. Like
Yeah.
I don't need to feel pretty to
Okay.
be worthy.
Right.
or
And the way you feel
enjoy
about
life.
yourself and the potential of who you can be, it can be separate from how you compare to the general population. And I think
Yeah.
the point of the segment, the reason why people like it, is because it gets back to the attention economy and how social media has altered the way in which women perceive themselves based on the amount of attention they can get. And so
Yeah.
men, we just don't live in that world. I can't post selfies of myself and garner an audience. That's just not how it works. Maybe for a few people.
We're on Brian's
Okay, but still,
podcast right now.
but even bodybuilders, it's like men. Anybody who works out, know it's men that congratulate you or appreciate your fitness more than women do. So it's like the whole idea you get fit for women. Rarely ever does a woman come up and say, "Wow, you have great shoulders" or whatever it may be.
But we also have gay for pay, so there's
Well, that's a
guys
wholly
who
different
are,
dynamic.
you know,
You're talking about homosexuals.
Oh.
Then that's a totally
they're
different.
not homosexual.
Gay for pay.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty gay and homosexual to me.
Just because the act is doesn't mean they are.
I think
it's
behavior
for pay,
no.
like you're straight and then
Yeah,
you-
behavior dominate. Again, I'm not going to go based on what somebody labels themselves as. I'm going to go based on what their behaviors are.
Right.
So
but
if
it's still winning over favor of men.
sure, and I'm sure there's lesbian for pay. I don't know. I'm not in that world. But anyways, my point in regards to the segment.
Oh, yeah, there is lesbian for pay.
Is because
In our industry, yeah.
is because women typically, historically, like let's say the average 5 male and the average 5 female, they would get together and have a family. But because of the way social media has altered the perception, the self-perception of women, is the average 5 is like really waiting for the 7, the 8, the 9. And this is why then it's interesting for people to watch the show and see how women rate themselves to see like how realistic are they in regards to like the actual full spectrum dating market.
I understand. So you think when you say a 5 and it's not like you don't think that a hot person and a 5 like can coincide or like
They could, absolutely. My point is, though, that's why the average man is having such a difficult time of finding a woman to actually build a family with.
Oh, okay.
Because the average woman probably has had one-night stands, promiscuous encounters with men that are more attractive than the man that she could actually form a long-term relationship with.
See, that's what I'm saying. When you say actually form, actually, like, you mean like, why can't they form with someone that's like a lot of people that talk to me are like people who are into big women. They're the 10s of the 10s. They're the hottest people. Like, I've seen a lot of people who are plus size that come on this podcast, and people think that that's not the truth. It is. Like, people that look like you're a very attractive man, hit on me all the time, and that's just the reality of it. And does that mean I'm taking away from the average man of like, because I'm fat, I have to be with someone who's average? Like, do
You don't have to. No, and maybe again the category where these men find you as a fat queen. Maybe that. Well, that's kind of the way you phrased it earlier.
Yeah.
So
A
I'm
goddess.
just a goddess.
A goddess.
Okay. Well, however you want to phrase it. Okay, so that's kind of the exception to the rule. But generally speaking, this is why it's so difficult in the dating market for average people to find average people. And women because you guys have access to sex and you have that leverage, and then men are so lustful and simpy and can't control themselves. I mean, you guys are able to have experiences with people that the average man is not having. He's not having one night stands with the female 8 and thinking, you know what, maybe I'm a 5, but one day I could actually settle down with an 8. We're just more realistic. Men are forced to deal with reality, and women are able to live in the world that men construct and kind of be shielded from it.
See, even thinking that men are like, I'm gonna end up with an 8, like I don't even think like that. Like I don't think like this is who, you know what I mean? Like I just date who I date, and like if they're a 4
Sure.
or whatever. Like even like the fact that we're talking about a number scale on someone's looks, I just hate that in general. Like that someone is a number. Like why does it
Sure.
matter? Like
Well, it shouldn't diminish
it's a
who they are.
bigger issue of how like looks is such a big thing in the world, and it's just crazy that it runs. But it will always be like that.
Yeah, it's
It'll
just a
always be like that.
superficial way to kind of view how people perceive themselves in relationship to the general market of dating.
Yeah.
And like, couples finding other people. So, yeah, I mean, no matter what number you are, that shouldn't diminish your human worth or who you are as a person. And I don't think
Yeah.
anybody watching this thinks that's the case. What the people watching this are interested in is like, what do the chicks think about themselves? Because they probably have some type of rating, and they want to see if it concords with reality, or again, they live in a fantasy world where everybody's a 10 and that's fine if you have that personal belief in yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's great to be self-confident.
That's even-
But the reality of it all is that we all are on a spectrum of of appearance and attractiveness.
Of course.
And even the 10, it's not like all people are attracted to what would be the prototype 10.
Yeah.
But typically, statistically, probability, on average, people date and marry the people on their same level. And the problem is for young men is they can't get the woman that's on their level because they're constantly focused upwards on this dating spectrum because of the attention that they get online.
Makes sense.
I don't know. In the adult industry, I've noticed that like BBW is a very consistent niche. Like I've noticed that when I gained a little bit of weight, like I got more scenes and
telling you.
I got more action. Not saying I like got to the BBW level, but I fluctuate weight. I'm a thick girl, so I'll speak for the thick girlies. But
Well, and couldn't that be because the average man is wanting to fantasize about somebody that they think is actually like potentially realistic for them?
possibly. But I also think that it's like a like I don't know, just it's a
A fetish?
very like. Yeah, it's a huge fetish, like a huge fetish. I don't think you guys understand like how big.
I
of a
probably
fetish it
don't
is.
understand.
You guys don't.
I'm out of that
There's
world.
two, like, because obviously I understand of everyone. Like, there's two different ends of it. There's people who fetishize us, and it's like literally only about our actual fat. Like, they don't care about us. They care about like my belly. It's weird. Like, and that is a whole nother section of it. But there's also people who are just into women and a person, and they're into me as a person. You know what I mean? And that's a whole nother thing. Like, they'll date anyone. But I feel like a lot of people say that there's not lots of men out there for bigger women. Not a lot of people. Like, is huge. So many people like big women. Your brothers, your cousins, your dad, your uncle, everyone. And you might hide it, and you might not. And that's okay if you're not, like, in high school. Like, I didn't get a lot of guys talking to me in high school because they were embarrassed, right? It's like I had a lot of friends. I was very popular in high school, but the dating scene was not a thing for me. When I got out of high school, the gates flooded open, you know what I mean? Because they felt like not insecure to like hold my hand out in public. It's more of like a school thing, like their friends picking on them and stuff like that. When they grow up and they realize that they have their own decisions and they can make their own choices, and they realize that they actually have always liked bigger women, and it's not a bad thing. Like, it's different. Like, you look like you're very physical and you might like to go on hikes and stuff. I understand that someone might not want to be with me because I physically can't. I'm not going on hikes every day. I can go to Universal and walk the park all day, and that's fine. There's things I can do, but I'm also not going on bike rides and doing all these things. And I understand my lifestyle might not match their lifestyle, and that's completely okay. But, and also you might not be attracted to me, and that's okay too. But to be like acting like this is not a reality of like people. No, I'm not saying you are. I'm saying people. It is such a reality. Whenever I go out, I get hit on all the time, more than I feel like skin, because I feel like they think I want it more because I am big. But it's like all the time, you know what I mean? And
Erroneous.
erroneous.
You know what? I don't think it's a fetish because if you think about it historically, women didn't used to be skinny. Like women used to be like much better than we see nowadays. It's like,
I feel like there's different levels of it. Like when it's my size,
don't know.
yeah, like, if you look
No,
at
I don't think women were.
You were seen as like
if you look
richer.
at
Yeah, you were
if
rich
you
and
were
paintings,
bigger.
Yeah, but no one was
paintings,
like
you see
obese.
that.
In, like,
but
the
that's a certain,
1800s.
In Russian
certain
culture,
historical
Yeah,
period.
sculptures too.
Yeah, certain historical periods. But I mean, you look at like if you're
Wait,
talking
hold
about
on,
statues
sculptures?
in Greek culture.
Yeah,
Yeah, big-
look
like,
at
They weren't like
fat.
stick thin. They had some curves, but they were not like anywhere approaching obese.
They weren't obese, but they had the body. You know, like
Yeah.
in the Russian culture, like we're from Russia, we can, you know, it was considered to be beautiful for a woman to be fat.
Well, what?
What?
I would
Yeah.
say again.
Wait,
looking back
in
at-
Russia?
Yeah,
Russia is
It
my
used to be.
Bro,
Russia.
I'm sorry,
It
if you're
used to be.
used to
that's-
be.
Yeah, it used to be.
Who
Not
cares?
now.
Who cares about what
But I'm
used
saying,
to be?
like, we're still wired the same way. You know?
No. Okay, it's not wired though.
Like men-
wired is being attracted to healthy bodies.
Yes.
Obesity is not healthy. When you're what you're
I'm not
talking.
saying
Hold on. Stop. What you're talking about is not wired. You're talking about a specific social phenomenon in like feudal Europe where there was mass amounts of poverty and most of the peasantry was like hungry and starving, and so a woman who was obese perhaps was an indicator that she came from a wealthy family,
like,
and
she was
that
more
that is the
fertile.
basis of like it was a social
larger
construct
hips.
and a determination of like, okay, well, she's well fed, so that's the basis perhaps for the attraction. But there's not a wiring for men to be attracted to fat women.
The thing is that, like, if the basis for attraction is reproduction, right?
Yes.
So, like, if a woman is very, very skinny, she's not.
That wouldn't disprove my claim.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, you to successfully have a child, you need to have some curves. Like, you need to have some
Not
body.
true.
I-
My mom is so skinny. And that's not true.
I think it's like the
I
women
think
bearing
she-
hips thing.
Wait.
like,
Yeah, I think if you have traditionally, if you have wider hips, it can be easier to give birth.
Right.
She has wide hips, but she's skinny.
Yeah.
But the point, generally speaking, in regards to like the statuary you're referring to, those aren't fat women, and yeah, they may have some body fat on them, but it was a signifier of fertility. So when we're talking about like obese people, this is later in European history, and this had to do with kings
Wait.
presenting themselves.
Hold on. Can you hold on? Don't change, please. Can you fix your top, please?
To any art museum, like, you see all
Right.
these paintings, and you're like, well, this woman needs to
Yeah,
go
the
to
Mona
gym.
Lisa, she wasn't super skinny, but she also wasn't obese or fat.
Right, but like by modern standards, like, that's not,
Just don't.
Also, I mean, I don't know if like depictions in ancient art or like statues is necessarily. I don't know if we can draw anything necessarily from that. But quick thing. Okay, so you're a 10.
I say as my own self. I kind of said it to piss these people off, but I also feel like I said, I'm realistic, but I think of myself as a 10.
Okay.
Like,
And you said I was a 6.
as like I think you're a good-looking man, Brian. I don't think you're ugly.
So, but you would be settling for me, like you would be doing me a favor.
Yeah, I would be doing you a favor. Yes.
No, is that no? Genuinely, I'm not going to
No,
be offended.
I don't like
Just,
reading
is
people.
that
I
your,
just
no? But would you feel like, from a physical perspective, that you would be settling for me?
no. Because I rated myself a 10. Are you saying okay? That's what I'm saying. This rating
Wouldn't that
thing
have
is
to
so
be the case, though?
I get what you're saying, but I don't think you're less attractive than me because I rated myself a 10. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I think I am a 10, but I don't think.
You said
I don't know,
that was
that's
a
what I'm
6.
saying. This thing is so stupid because like I feel like this shouldn't even be a topic or like a discussion. But
Well, women rate men all the time on a variety of measurements and factors.
measurements literally.
Wait, but hold on. Like, I'll give you perspective. You said that you would not date another fat man, and that's a determination based on a measurement of his weight.
No, but
or
we're
his
talking about
physical manifestation.
No. See, that's the thing. I would date a man that's fat if I was skinny. We're talking about like
No,
realistic.
but you're right. But in practice, for technicality reasons,
Yes.
for practicality reasons,
Yes.
it just doesn't work.
Yeah. So what are you saying? What are you asking?
But I'm saying you make determinations in terms of who you will date or what you. I don't want to say. You probably do you find fat men attractive?
Yeah, I find
Okay, so
I find so many people attractive.
I won't misrepresent.
I don't think I'm. My brain is wired differently than a lot of people.
Okay,
I
but
think that
you make assessments based on who you're going to partner with, based off of measurements. Will you date a guy who's shorter than you?
it depends on how much shorter. I don't mind. I would rather the same height and like maybe 2 inches is the most I would do because of short.
How tall are you?
I'm like 5'7". See, that's
Okay,
how
would you date a
hard.
guy who's 5'6"?
Yeah, I would.
Is it your preference though?
No, but I'm
What's
not
your preference?
tall. But I would date someone who's shorter. I'm in love
It's not
with
your
them.
preference though.
No, but
Right.
it's not your. You wouldn't date a fat person. That's your preference, and that's okay.
How big is the if she has a big labia, I might give her
Did
a
we just
pass.
say big labia?
I only date women with large labia.
Do you have a large labia? Who's asking? I don't know.
I'm glad I
these
didn't
girls
get the
over here have
plasty.
penis size preferences.
I do. Well, do you think it's okay? You don't think it's okay to have a penis preference? Because in my scenario, I didn't have sex for 3.5 years because I was in love with this man, and that's not okay. I don't think that's okay. If you can't have sex with someone because their penis is too small, that's okay to have a preference. I think if like
Wait, so my preference is not okay?
no, I did say what preference? You not wanting to be with a fat person?
No, I was talking about labia.
Oh, okay. See, that's the thing. Labia is more like visual. Penis is more like physical. You
Not
can't.
true.
That is true. A labia isn't making the sex be worse. Like okay, what is the labia doing that's getting in the way of the fornicating?
No, it doesn't get in the way.
It
Grits.
does change. It
There
does
we go.
How
change
much
the-
labia
Okay.
do you like?
I want Guinness World Record level labia.
Yeah.
All right, never mind.
So see, but then your nonprofit says, what was that again?
Big labia matter.
See, big
What
labia
does
matters.
that mean? Like
Big
how
labia?
tight she is?
No, it's the
The little-
Audi versus any.
The little flop flops, you know what I mean? But
Patrick's loving this conversation. by the
I
way.
feel you can't compare the two. Like, I also don't think it's okay to judge someone off of any. Like, okay, if they have a
No,
there's
innies are fine. Innies are cool
See,
too.
this is
I have a preference for Audis.
Okay, that's fine, but I feel like I feel like the comparison's like an ugly penis or a non-usable penis. Like we're talking about size or the way it looks. Like a big labia is like an ugly penis, or in your comparison. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if someone had a do you know what I'm saying? Like
No, I
some people
know what
don't.
you're saying.
Okay, let me.
Not all small penises are micro penises where it's like
True.
practically impossible to have
True,
intercourse.
but I'm saying if it's anything like for me, I can't have intercourse with certain sizes, so that's not a choice. It's like that's just what it is. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't not date someone because they had an ugly looking one. Like if it works and it's usable, I don't care what it looks like. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's more judgy than like saying it's about the size. Why are you acting like that doesn't make sense? The size of it is like you physically can't do stuff. The look of it is like judging. That's the same thing of a big labia. That's the same thing.
So do you object to my preference, or I'm
No,
just
I think
confused?
you're allowed to feel how you want and
okay.
not like I don't. Who cares?
Yeah, but I mean, look, women make all kinds of assessments when it comes to men, and if they're going to be attracted to them based on various literal measurements, penis size, height, their physicality. It could be also what else? Like hair. Mm-hmm. If they are balding, women typically prefer men with a full head of hair.
But you guys do the same thing, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But
We're-
women have an issue when men make judgments. We'll rate women based on a scale, but like women will literally say, I won't date a guy, not all women, but will say, I won't date a guy unless he's 6 feet. That's literally a judgment call based off of a measurement, off of a guy's height.
But that's the same thing of saying I wouldn't date someone who's fat. I wouldn't date someone who's because not my size, because this is a different category. We're talking about like if you're really skinny, like if you gain like if you're in a relationship with someone who's small and they gain 50 pounds, are you gonna break up with them? Like that's 50 pounds.
Yeah, possibly. Depends.
See, that to me is. I mean,
I might not.
That's the thing. You're allowed to do that, but I feel like unless they're physically like changing, like how I said at this size, I can't match you if you want to be hiking and doing all these things, and that's a lifestyle thing. But your partner gains 50 pounds, and you're gonna break up with her.
What would be
Depends
wrong
on
with
the
it?
reasons of why they gain 50 pounds.
What would actually
Okay.
be wrong with it, though?
See, I don't know. To me, I'm not saying it's wrong for you. I'm saying to me, I would not do that, and that to me that just is crazy. Like a 50-pound difference. I think maybe 100 pounds, 200. That's crazy. Like that's a very big difference. But 50 pounds is like very easily lost. I feel like.
I mean, honestly, I know people have differences on this. I don't think it would actually be wrong for a guy to break up with a woman, even if she lost or even if she gained 10 pounds.
Okay. So
What you'd have to make a compelling argument for why it would be wrong to do that.
Yeah, I
Because
don't-
women break up with men for a bunch of totally benign, arbitrary reasons all the time.
Like this is the thing where I'm saying like everyone is allowed to feel how they feel. Like I can't tell you in my life I would not do that. I would not break up with someone if they gained 10 pounds, whatever.
I don't think I would break up with a girl if she gained 10 pounds either.
Yeah.
If she gained 50 pounds,
Then it's a different story.
that
That bitch gotta go.
I might not.
Okay.
Am I still
Could-
attracted
again,
to her? What are the reasons?
Why did she gain 50 pounds? Was it depression?
Yeah,
was it a change of
depression,
lifestyle?
whatever.
There could be a lot of reasons that could contribute to a factor of why maybe the relationship is
Mm-hmm.
being stressed because of the weight gain. So within your hypothetical, there's a lot of other factors that could easily contribute to why, that maybe this isn't working.
Damn, this girl's sunburned as fuck. Holy shit. Sorry, go ahead. God damn.
It's literally turning
Go spend a day at the
Oh my
beach.
gosh.
Gotta get out.
Were you at the beach today?
yesterday.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's all good. I was just saying there's a lot of other factors that could easily contribute to a rational reason why the relationship may end over 50 pounds. Because that is a dramatic increase in somebody's, especially if you're already dating them and you have a lifestyle and expectations. So there's a lot of
What
other
you're saying.
factors that can contribute.
A couple things to kind of wrap up on the like rating 1 to 10 thing.
Wait, can I ask him a question really
Nope.
fast?
About what?
I was just gonna ask you, are you on steroids?
I am not on steroids. I am totally natural.
Okay.
Slay King.
DPH is 190 pounds of muscle, steel, and
And
sex
what?
appeal. There is no steroid. This is all natural.
Oh.
Are you on steroids?
Do I look like I'm on fucking steroids? What the fuck?
I don't know.
Shit, maybe I should be.
I don't know what's under that hoodie. I have no idea.
So, what the fuck? But you asked why it matters. Why do I do this rating thing? You kind of object to it. It's a check for humility, a check for humbleness.
Yeah.
And then a check for, are you delusional? Are you delusional? And I think that women, they assess female attractiveness very generously, and they assess male attractiveness very harshly. One of the ways that this manifests, though, and there's a clear difference between men and women on this, is that women have short-term sexual access to men who are outside of their league. So, for example, as a woman, if you make yourself sexually available to a guy who's just outside of your league, I don't know, maybe you guys reject leagues, right? But you make yourself sexually available to a guy who's outside of your league, he'll take you up on it. You might get a one-night stand. You might get friends with benefits that could last weeks or months. You might get a situationship, which could last weeks or months. You might get a fuck buddy, whatever it is. Very, very unlikely to ever result in like legitimate long-term commitment. But you can get that level of access to men who otherwise would never commit to you. As a man, if I step to a girl who is clearly outside of my league, and I'm not being like weird, I'm just pleasant, and hey, I'm sexually available for you. I don't get sexual access, and no men ever, rarely, will get sexual access in a limited capacity in the same way that women get sexual access in a limited capacity to men who are just clearly, obviously out of their league. And this is dangerous in a couple ways. So this is why women end up in situationships and dealing with fuckboys and all this sort of stuff. Look, it's a difficult situation to navigate. We all want to get the best that we can get. And if we can get somebody who's like, hey, we'd be lucky to get him, we want to go for that. The difference is men tend to have a more realistic approach to this. It's like, I don't think that I could sleep with women outside my league. And I don't think this is a confidence thing. This is a reality thing. This is a practicality thing. Men get rejected on the front end. Men get rejected instantly. If I step to a girl who's more attractive than me, I don't get a conversation. I don't get a kiss. I don't get a first date. I don't get sex. I don't get strung along for, a couple weeks, whatever. I don't get anything. Women, if you make yourself sexually available to men who are more attractive than you, you'll get something, but you won't get what you really want, which is commitment. And so what ends up happening is, imagine if this was the case. Let's say there was, from average men, average dudes from the age of 20 to 30, let's say that they could consistently have sex with supermodels or just women who, say a guy of 5, he can regularly sleep with women who are 8, 9s, and 10s. Why would he ever, would he ever want to, look, there are some guys who are relationship minded, but you take like the average fucking gooner. Why would he ever get into a relationship when he has a steady flow of sex with women who are more attractive than the women that he can get into a relationship with? The reality is that doesn't happen for any men, but it happens all the time for women. All the time. And then what ends up happening, you start, as women, playing this comparison game. And some of these guys, they'll keep you around for sex, and they might even not be upfront about their intentions because they want to keep you for sex. So they might dangle the potential of a relationship, and they might not ever tell you something like, by the way, on the basis of your looks alone, I will never be in a relationship with you, but I'll keep you around for sex. And, maybe if you have a pleasant personality, you're not terrible to spend some time with, but I never want to be monogamous with you, or I never want to marry you, or I never want to have kids with you on the sole basis of your physical appearance. Guys will keep you. They'll keep you in that situation for a bit. And so you could either be viewing that and think, okay, well, this is my league. I'm able to get this quality of guy for short-term sex. I deserve that for a long-term relationship. One sec. I deserve that for a long-term relationship, but you keep, it doesn't work with this guy. You go to the next guy, doesn't work. Next guy doesn't work. Next guy doesn't work. And then all of a sudden, you're so used to a certain attractiveness of man, and this could be looks, it could be status, it could be other factors, but I'm just looking at it from the component of looks. And then you look at the guy who's actually in your league, who's your looks equivalent, and you think, whoa, you're just not attracted to him. You don't want to be in a relationship with him. You think you're settling for him. Maybe you finally, fuck, I'm 30, I need to have kids. Okay, I'm going to get into a relationship with this dutiful boyfriend who's I'm not even attracted to. There's going to be a dead bedroom in the relationship. There's going to be growing resentment. Divorce is coming. And I just think, look, y'all on the cock carousel, and you're dealing with dudes who you can get sex from them. It's like, have you ever, did you go to college?
I went for a little bit, but
Did you live in a dorm room?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So it's like, imagine living in a dorm room with 4 other people and you got bunk beds, right? And then you have an experience of living in a mansion. Mm-hmm. It's really hard to go from living in a mansion and having your own room and your own bathroom to going back to having 3 roommates, not housemates, 3 roommates. In that same way, once women deal with a certain caliber of guy, it's hard to go back to the normal dude who's actually, that's the dude you should have been dealing with. That's the dude in your league.